agencies will continue to maintain high visibility today. Traffic was heavy on major routes across the country yesterday as the Easter weekend got underway. Many travellers were heading to Moriah in Limpopo, where the ZCC Church is holding an annual Easter pilgrimage. Late yesterday afternoon, Pulani Toll Plaza on the N1 towards Polokwane recorded more than 1,500 vehicles per hour. Traffic officials say the death toll in a week leading up to Easter has dropped by 60% compared to last year. They plan to sustain their efforts throughout this long weekend.
Now, as we continue to monitor traffic across the country today, we now turn our attention to the N1 North. That's towards Polokwane, as you know. Very difficult road there, where Sipho Stuurman is standing by to give us an update. Sipho, very good morning to you. Can you tell us about the traffic there? When I look behind you, it doesn't look so congested.
Very good morning to you, Elvis. Indeed, this morning traffic here is not as congested as one would have expected. You mentioned in the introduction that this is one of the popular routes leading to the Moriah pilgrimage here in Limpopo. And yesterday afternoon, they recorded nearly 2,000 cars per hour at this Pumlani toll gate here. But this morning, things have come down a little bit. If you look through there, there's just one or two, a few hundred vehicles coming through at this point in time. So it's not such a busy morning, which would indicate that the motorists and travelers have planned their journey well by leaving in the afternoon on Thursday.
How is the law enforcement there in that particular route? Has it calmed down, or have they taken some of the manpower away from there?
Well, on this particular route, Tshwane, of course, told us that they are highly visible all around these major routes leading to Polokwane and the other provinces. But coming here this morning, there hasn't been that much traffic visibility here. I think it's within the inner cities, because right about now, their concern is very much on drunk driving, and we know those activities happen within the inner city. However, a bit of good news is that they've told us that within Tshwane, of course, the routes that are leading to Tshwane here, that they haven't had any recorded fatalities. Of course, they've arrested a number of drunk drivers, but so far right now, they haven't had any fatalities that they've recorded, on the routes that are leaving and coming towards Tshwane. So, which means that is a bit of good news, because you remember that the government for this year has a target of reducing fatalities by 10%. You will know that last year, 2015, the Easter weekend fatalities really skyrocketed, reaching almost 300 deaths. It was 287 that were recorded last year. So that was a very high number, and this is a number that they want to reduce at least by 10% this year.
So no accidents reported this morning as yet?
At this point in time, there hasn't been that many accidents reported. Fatal accident, that is, that they have not been reported right about now. But of course, they will continue to monitor. They say this is just the start of the weekend. We still have a long way to go, and Easter Monday as well. So of course, we're going to keep monitoring and get those statistics through. But at this point in time, on just today alone, there hasn't been any fatalities, which is an encouraging sign, of course. But of course, the police will be on the roads and just monitoring that. Because another issue they speak of, particularly, Elvis, is the speeding matter, that a lot of people speed, and this leads to fatalities. So they will also be monitoring that and just ensuring that motorists keep within the rules. And remember, if you are nabbed today, you'll only appear in court on Tuesday. So that means it is in your best interest as a driver to keep to the rules, because the courts will only open on Tuesday. So that means you will be spending your rest of your Easter weekend behind bars, and I don't think anyone wants that. So it is in the best interest of following the rules as we are told by the Metro Corps.
So it won't be a happy Easter weekend for the person being nabbed today. Now, Sipho, I just want to chat to you briefly about we spoke to the MEC a little bit earlier, and there's this phenomenon about the Malishas that's coming through, overloaded vehicles. Talk to us about this phenomenon. Where does it happen, and why does it happen on these roads, especially to Limpopo?
Well, we know that Limpopo is one of the popular destinations during Easter. The Moriah pilgrimage is taking place there. So we always see a lot of travelers from various parts within Gauteng are going towards this direction. And They hire a variety of vehicles, whether it's the normal taxis, minibuses, and they hire other, buses to carry them to their destination. So the problem is that they tend to overload these, and one would think perhaps the motorists or the drivers are greedy for huge profits, because this is a profitable time for people that offer transport services. So they load as many people as possible, and that tends to be a problem. And officials are always obviously looking out for that, saying that overloading vehicles is also an offense, and one will also be arrested for such activities.
Now, I was trying to see if there was any of those militias coming through so the viewers can actually see what we're talking about, but unfortunately it seems like we couldn't see any of the vehicles. But thank you so much for that update, Sipho Stuurman, our reporter, live at the toll gate there. Now let's find out what's happening there. Hundreds of CCC pilgrims will be arriving at the ZCC Church headquarters in Moria outside Polokwane. Our reporter Mike Moringa is standing by. He's live on the scene there. Mike, a very good morning to you. Can you tell us about the situation there right now? What is happening?
Good morning to you and the viewers at home. It's indeed a very busy day. We have seen a lot of buses. I have lost count of buses that have turned in this busy intersection on the R71. This is the road that leads to Moria. Since last night, a lot of buses have been passing through here, private vehicles as well. We're still expecting 100 more buses to pass through this intersection as they make their way to Moria. Just to take you back, in 2012 when President Zuma was in Moria, when he visited Moria, there were about 22,000 buses alone. So we are expecting that number to increase. At this intersection alone, we have seen about 6 vehicles of traffic officials who are trying to usher traffic to go into the Moria side. This is the intersection where buses that are coming from Gauteng, buses that are coming from far north on your way from Zimbabwe, this is where they turn on their way to Moria. So as it stands now, we don't know the number of buses that have turned into Moria, but we'll get that figure as the weekend progresses. Alvin.
What about the law enforcement in the area there, Mike? Is there still a lot of traffic officials there?
Yes, traffic officials have been working. They worked throughout the night. All the way from between Kranskop and here in Polokwane, you cannot drive for 10 kilometers and not see traffic officials. Visibility this year was of paramount importance. This was also said by the Ministry of Transport when they launched the Easter weekend campaign to say that they will have their traffic officers 24/7 on the road, and that was proven to be correct, because when we were doing our rounds on the N1, we have seen a lot of traffic officials. Even on this intersection, as we speak, there are a lot of traffic officials, but majority of them have gone to the Moria intersection, because what you see here, it's not a big deal. There's an intersection that goes into Moria. It is very busy because you've got cars that are coming as far as Phalaborwa, Tzaneen, Giyani. They are all going through that intersection into Moria. But yes, indeed, back to your question, there are a lot of traffic officials on the way who are here to see to it that people are driving on the speed that it's allowed on the road. And in any other part of the province, we have seen majority of traffic officers mending the roads. Alvin.
Now, Mike, we know I can see all the buses traveling through there and a number of vehicles as well. Any reported accidents as yet?
Yes, the only accident that we heard about, it happened very late last night. It was between Polokwane and Lotregad, where about 8 vehicles were involved, and unfortunately 2 people died on that accident. It happened late. We only got to know about it this morning. But also another incident that I must also bring to your attention. We have just got news when we were standing here that at Bilabila, police are mending a roadblock. Some 3 vehicles came with cigarettes, illegal cigarettes that are coming from the border. The drivers of those vehicles flee and left their vehicles on the scene. The MEC for transport is on her way to the scene now. We'll give you more on that story as it develops. But as of now, the only thing that we know is that the drivers of those vehicles ran away and left the vehicles at the roadblock. We don't know the amount of cigarettes that were found or that will be confiscated on that roadblock. But the news just came in now. We'll inform you as the day progresses.
Thank you, Mike. You'll keep us updated on that story as it unfolds. Thank you so much. That's our reporter, Mike Moringa, there in Polokwane, just outside Polokwane. It looks like it's a very busy day on the road still, with the vehicles going to Moria. Renee, some people are still on the road, well, today is the holiday, isn't it? It's Good Friday.
Yes, everybody wants to go home and go away for the weekend. But I think it's quite a good statistic that we heard earlier. 60% decrease from last year. That's very good.
Fantastic.
But of course, we still want to wish our viewers a very safe travel on the roads this weekend.